on YouTube where the past comes alive. Brian's knife showcasing them vintage pocket knives. Every blade tells a story, rusty but grand, reminding me of the knives once held in my dad's hand.
What's up, everybody? Playing around with some camera angles here. Not sure what I think about this, but we'll give it a try. See what it looks like. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Anyway, you know, the thing I like least about all this is just dealing with the video stuff and the editing and all the technology stuff. Probably because I do technology 8 hours a day, every day, helping other people figure out their problems. So anyway, hopefully we can get everything squared away for you. But today I wanted to look at another knife that belonged to my dad. And I pulled this out of the bag. I cleaned it up a little bit, but let's take a look at this guy. This is a cold steel fixed blade. And it's got that tanto end on it there, blade shape. And let's see, look at it this way. So yeah, I've been messing around with this knife for a bit and have some initial impressions about it. So why don't we take a little closer look. We'll go down to the tabletop since that's probably a less distracting view. And we'll take a look at this knife that belonged to Dad. Okay? All right, here we go. Okay, so let's take a closer look here at this cold steel. It's meant to be a tactical knife or a boot knife. So you'll see they've been intentional about some of the design of this knife to be able to be used, carried in a boot. I've never done that with a knife, and I can guarantee you my dad never carried it in his boot either. But this is what we're working with here. And you can tell the clips had some issues along the way. Dad's re-glued that at some point. In fairness, it looks like they've moved to a metal clip, which would be a much better option, I would think, for this knife now. I looked on, I think it was Midway USA, and it looks like basically this knife, the newer version of it, retails for about 50 bucks, is what they're asking for it. And so we'll take a look here. We've got the Tanto blade. We have AUS 8 stainless steel. So not the best steel in the world, not the worst. Easily sharpened. I measured the blade a few minutes ago, and from right about the tip to the beginning of that guard right there is, I believe it was 5 1/4 inches. Fairly long blade. And then we have this, this rubberized material to give you a good grip for the knife. Look at this. That is a super thin handle. But it kind of makes sense when you think about, you know, this needs to go in your boot, so you don't want some ginormous handle, thick handle for this knife. So they've been intentional about the shape of that and the thinness of it. And like I said, you certainly can get a good grip on it. I'm not, you know, a huge fan of this material, whatever. I think they called it, is it Kraton, K-R-A-T-O-N, I believe is what they're using on it now. So I'm not super familiar with it, but, you know, it does its job, but it's not something I would, you know, pick necessarily. The blade is 1/8 inches thick. It's a little hard to get much focus on that, but and then, you know, the one good thing about it is you're not gonna break that tip off easily. So It does have a sharp point on it, but it's not going to be a point that you can snap off super easy. So would be quite good for self-defense or tactical use, I would think. And take a closer look at the grind on the knife. Seems fairly consistent across the blade there. And look at the other side as well. So needs to be sharpened. It's not super sharp. It's unusual to find one of Dad's knives that wasn't sharp. That was kind of one of his pet peeves. As a kid, I got, talked to more than once about a dull knife, so he tended to keep his pretty razor sharp, but this one was not, so not sure why that was, but that was just the reality of it when I pulled the knife out today. But yeah, overall, I think, a very usable knife, certainly large enough to be used in a self-defense situation. The sheath is nothing special. I would really like it to have a bit more of a solid click when you insert that in the sheath there to know that it's been secured well. But I guess, when you think about this knife, it's going to set up vertically in someone's boot, so probably not going to come out, and you wouldn't want it to be too secure in the sheath, because, the whole thing could come out of your boot if you went to grab it and pull it out like that. So I think I see the, kind of the design and the reason they made it like they did. But yeah, it feels just, kind of spongy when you go to insert it there. Not quite like an SC knife feels when it clicks in place there in the sheath. But anyway, not a big deal. Just a kind of a pet peeve of mine. But yeah, overall pretty decent little knife. Like I said, it'll set you back $50. I don't know that I'm willing to pay that for it, but you might be. And if you've owned this knife or currently do own the knife, I'd love to hear your comments about it. Did you carry it as a tactical knife in your boot? How did that go? Would you purchase it again? All those kind of comments are super helpful to anyone that watches the video and takes a look at the comments that are left. So feel free to share about that. Would love to hear from you guys as always. All right, well, I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in once again, and really appreciate everyone that subscribed to the channel. Like I said, you guys are awesome. You make this fun and make it worth the effort. So I really do appreciate each one of you. Hope you're having a great week. We're almost Friday into the weekend, so that's something to be excited about. And hey, did you know it's gotten a lot cooler in Kentucky, and it's going to be really cool over the next week or so. So I'm pretty happy about that. I took some time off work next week, and it just happened that I chose well. So glad about that. All right, guys, take care. I'll talk to you in the next video. God bless each of you.
As the video ends and the screen fades to black, I feel one from the memories it brings back. Dad's legacy lives on in each collector's find. In those vintage blades, I feel him pull